Hello and welcome, friends, to episode 10 of JoeShine's Let's Play Kerbal Space Program Career Mode. Again, we are picking up exactly where we left off, following a successful landing on the moon by Burrod Kerman, and a less than successful takeoff by JoeShine. That was just badly done. I turned in the wrong direction. I was orbiting the moon in the wrong orientation, and it was just bad. Because I didn't pay attention and got into a long ramble about actually Mars 1 and risk assessment and space travel and all kinds of stuff. But after that, I was actually doing just looking into to Mars 1, and it is interesting. I don't actually believe I'm going to try and get Burrod home while I talk about this, and hope that this time multitasking is not as terrible of an idea for me. You know, walking and chewing gum at the same time. Anyway, with Mars 1, I do not think objectively that the plan as they have laid it out is really going to happen. I think that their timeline is way too optimistic. It's an aggressive timeline. They're looking at their first unmanned launch in 2018, and C just overshot it, but that's okay. We're gonna use up some of our excessive amounts of monopropellant to raise the periapsis out of the ground and back into the atmosphere so that we can do an air capture here. Yeah, I think that their timeline is too aggressive. They've got their first launch unmanned in 2018. They're expecting their first manned launch in 2024, and then they're saying another manned launch consistently every 2 years, where you're just sending more people and more supplies to hopefully keep the people that are already there alive for as long as possible. And you know, I was kind of alluding to this in the last episode. I think that this is cool. I don't know if we are, let's say we as a country, we as a culture, I don't know that we are actually capable of doing this. Not technically, because I think that the technology is you know, pretty solid from the bits that I've seen. It does look like they have thought things through pretty well. What I think that we're not going to be able to do is square this with public risk acceptance. I don't see it happening. And that's unfortunate, because I think that these kinds of private ventures are where those of us who love science and space exploration really need to hang our hats. When you look back at the history of space flight, NASA is getting their budget slashed every single year. You know, like every time that there's actually a budget, the NASA chunk of that budget gets smaller, and it's just atrocious. Oh good, that didn't hit. So that's not a viable long-term plan. You can't make you can't make science if you continually narrow what you're giving to the scientists. It's not reasonable, it's not fair, and it's not sustainable. It actually finally occurred to me that I should probably check and make sure that I actually was in a capture, and I am, so that's good. So, but then, okay, if it's private enterprise now that's doing it, why does it have to be that? Why can't countries get their act together? We've got the International Space Station and a low-flying plane going over outside my window. We did it. Why can't we do it? And I think the reason is because when it was done before, when we were in the great space race trying to pit American know-how against the commie menace, this was not about science. This was geopolitical. This was every bit the same propaganda as those stark, intimidating Soviet posters of the of the post World War II era. It was not about science. It was about beating the Russians, and that's why the government was willing to put so much into it. And the fact that there were as many peripheral discoveries that came out of NASA is kind of like we brag about that. You talk about, okay, you go into a hospital and the machinery that you see around you, an early version of all of this was designed with the intent of trying to figure out how to keep astronauts alive, monitoring their what are we doing here? We've got a strange little visual. What the heck is that? I have some kind of strange visual glitch, and hopefully my game doesn't die. This is weird. Let's see what happens. We're going... Is this like the center of Kerbal or something? I don't know what that is. Yeah, we're going into a hole. I'm frightened for you, Burrod. Hang in there. Oh. Wow. I died on a glitch. Really? That is upsetting. The heck was that? Okay. Speaking of being risk averse. Oh, that's really sad. Wow. I wonder why it's doing that. I'll have to look into that and see what's going on. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. That vehicle was destroyed. We will have to try and honor Burrod Kerman as best we can with another trip to the moon. And maybe that's what we'll do. We'll hold off on a proper moon landing until we can do it properly, and like I said, do something with the Apollo stylings. So, wow, that completely derailed everything. Not only that I was doing, but gonna be talking about. Aw, sorry, Burrod. That's unfortunate. Go back to the Space Center, I guess. So we didn't get any science out of that, but fortunately we have some science from previous missions. So we're going to spend some of it anyway, between each launch. Gosh, I don't even know now. Poor Burrod. I'm all choked up. I did point out that this was something that I wanted to pick up soon, the heavy rocketry, because I want the the Skipper and Poodle engines, plus the larger diameter tanks. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And what about picking up some extra science? So we've got different batteries, different solar cells. We don't need that right now. This gives us little ladders and a new science collector, a barometer, and then over here we've got a thermometer. But we also have the mobile processing lab. Now that might be a much more interesting place to go. Now, however, since I already got this, shucks, what I want to do is have a next mission, maybe put a science observer in orbit with the processing lab. That could be fun. However, I don't think I have any. Do I have any docking bits and pieces yet? I don't think I do. This is an adapter. Let's maybe hope that we've got a docking adapters in here somewhere, and maybe try and move towards that. So yeah, this is going to be my second research, and yes. Okay, cool, good. So we'll do a mission, we'll do something, and then after that we will come back and pick up the specialized construction, because we've got all kinds. Yeah, we've got some interesting stuff. Cool. We'll do that, as well as the science processing lab. Cool. Okay, that's what we'll do. Let's go back, and we'll come over here to the Lost roster. Burrod Kerman, a hero to us all, the first Kerbal to stand upon both Minmus and the moon, sadly killed coming home. So I would like to have at least 4 in the roster at all time. So who shall we replace him with? I think we need a high courage. We need a hero. High courage, low stupidity. Andorf. I think it's going to be Andorf. All right. Thumpfred? That's kind of a crazy... No, Andorf. Andorf Kerman. We promote you. Welcome aboard, and good luck. So yeah, again, this was sort of all over the place and not what I intended, but that's how it goes. So, Burrod Kerman, we will honor your memory and hopefully keep the next few missions alive. Let's come on back and... I don't know what to say. I hadn't expected to lose a crew member there. This is kind of funny and a little sad. We'll think of something interesting to do for next mission. It's what we want to test out. And until then, have fun. Game on.